Our News from the Hill segment tonight. A top Democrat just admitted she has no evidence of President Trump and Russia colluding. Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein said this after she and her colleagues were briefed at CIA headquarters about Russia's meddling in the presidential campaign. Take a look.
I know that you and some of your colleagues from the Senate Intelligence Committee drove over to Langley, Virginia yesterday to CIA headquarters, and you were briefed. Here's the question. And you don't have to provide us with any classified information, Senator. But do you have evidence that there was in fact collusion between Trump associates and Russia during the campaign?
Not at this time.
With me now, reporter from the Washington Free Beacon, Adam Kredo. Adam, good to see you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Adam, the striking thing to me about this video is that not only did Senator Feinstein say she has no evidence of Trump colluding with Russia, she actually included, in answer to his question, the phrasing was Trump associates. She has no evidence that Trump associates even colluded with Russia.
Yeah, it actually doesn't surprise me at all. I think we've been gearing up to this point for quite some time. There's been leaks and trickles that, of course, this was a Democratic witch hunt. This was also put in place by the Obama administration before they left office. I think it was part of a larger effort by them to expand their own intelligence power and using that justification to go after Trump himself. But, of course, we're now getting closer and closer to the truth, and it's been coming out for quite some weeks. What's most shocking to me about this is that we're very likely one of the few people talking about it. This interview between Wolf and Feinstein really didn't get that much attention. I saw the video posted on websites, but nobody's actually gone and done the reporting, and I haven't seen the headlines anywhere boasting about this.
No, and kudos to him for that interview. I mean, it was a question that needed to be asked. I'm shocked no one has asked that before. It seems like that should have been the first question asked. But I think this is proof, too, or just an example, rather, that shady ties to money, as we've seen with Mike Flynn, kind of unquestionably, that does not in and of itself equate collusion with Russia to undermine our democracy and meddle in our election. Two entirely separate things, and Democrats always try to push them together. They try to make them seem like the same thing, and the more they conflate this type of story, the more they conflate this, the more they lose credibility. And we have another example of this. Senator Graham asked FBI Director James Comey, was the firm behind that Trump dossier, remember that was debunked, was that tied to the Russians? We have a video of that. Let's take a look.
The chairman mentioned that Fusion, are you familiar with Fusion?
I know the name.
Okay. Are they part of the Russian intelligence apparatus?
I can't say.
Okay. Do you agree with me that if Fusion was involved in preparing a dossier against Donald Trump, that would be interfering in our election by the Russians?
I don't want to say.
Okay.
Adam, what do you make of that? I mean, when he said, I don't want to say or I can't say whether this company, this organization was part of the Russian intelligence apparatus, it's quite chilling, isn't it?
Well, look, it's becoming clear that, in fact, it is, at the very least, connected to Russia, but there is mounting evidence that, in fact, they are part of that Russian intelligence operation and naturally put out false information. I think it was clear at the time that dossier was published by BuzzFeed, as much as I actually do admire their journalistic work, that it was completely bunk. I mean, just a basic review of it that I did, you could see it was produced on a Word document, things of this nature. It didn't look authentic in any way, shape, or form compared to some of the authentic dossiers and intelligence documents that I review and other reporters view. So, look, this isn't shocking to me at all. It's interesting. Comey's answer on this, he's trying to obfuscate a little bit, and I guess I understand his reasons for doing this. But again, just like Feinstein's remarks, we're finding more and more that if anything was taking place, it was an effort by Russia to influence the election, not in favor of Donald Trump, but just to kind of interfere with the U.S. democratic process. And on the side of the Trump administration, no, there was not any collusion. Yes, we've had characters involved in the Trump administration that, like you said, Flynn, have had some shady ties and probably should not have been led into the administration to begin with. But again, this is not tantamount to what the Democrats are trying to claim. They're reaching and they're failing at this.
No, and if anything, the destruction or the turmoil that the Russians have caused through their influence, if it didn't directly impact the results of the election, the outcome of the election, It's certainly influenced the governing of our nation. If anything, this would encourage them to do this more. I mean, truthfully, the Democrats have fallen right into their trap. They are focusing single-mindedly on this investigation that we have no proof, even from top Democrats in the Senate. There's no proof whatsoever that there was collusion between Trump and Russia, yet they're keeping going. If I were Russia, I'd keep doing this. Adam, one final question that I need to ask about that Trump dossier, though. Given this question from Senator Graham, I guess I was looking at what his motivation might have been to ask this question, and it seems to me that there were reports about who paid for this dossier, how it was funded, and whether any Democrat funded this, because that would be a very sticky situation, we'll put it diplomatically, if the FBI or if Democrats had funded this organization that was in fact tied to Russian intelligence.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I saw those same reports, and they're certainly interesting. They raise some very serious questions. And on the larger point, I think you absolutely hit it right on the head that no matter what, whether we end up concluding that there was no collusion between Trump and Russia, and I think we'll get there, at the end of the day, Putin in whatever, leather office he's sitting in is cackling because mission has been accomplished. He disrupted the election and has placed fears that are going to continue to go forward. He sowed those seeds of doubt.
Yeah, he did. Absolutely he did. If I were him, I'd say, well, good work to me. Look at the havoc I wreaked in America. Adam, I appreciate you coming on the show. Thanks for being here.